Imagine a man with everything: a wealth, power, and respect, a Japanese billionaire whose very footsteps made silence fall in boardrooms, whose slightest glance could turn rivals pale, whose decisions shaped the fate of companies and empires. But now imagine that same man furious, insulted, ready to leave America for good, and imagine that the one thing that stopped him, the single spark that broke through his fury and softened his iron heart, was not a diplomat, not a CEO, not a politician, but an 8-year-old girl, the daughter of a single dad. Yes, viewers, stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not just a story of culture and pride, not just a tale of wealth meeting simplicity, but a reminder that sometimes, the smallest voices carry the deepest power. And by the end, when I bring you back to this moment, you'll see exactly why the entire room gasped, why the billionaire's eyes filled with tears, and why he refused to leave. The story begins on a rainy Thursday morning in Los Angeles. Daniel Hayes, a single father and former soldier, stood outside a glass skyscraper downtown, his worn jacket dripping from the storm. His 8-year-old daughter, Emily, clutched his hand tightly, her little school backpack hanging loosely from her shoulders. They were both out of place in that sea of tailored suits and polished shoes, but Daniel had no choice. His job interview inside that building wasn't just important, it was survival. Since his wife's passing 3 years ago, he had been holding life together with duct tape and prayer, odd jobs, late nights, stretching every dollar. But this interview, at a multinational corporation that dealt in global trade, was a chance at something real. What he didn't know was that his path that day would collide with Kenjiro Takahashi, the Japanese billionaire who owned the very company. Inside, the lobby gleamed with marble and glass. Executives rushed past, their briefcases swinging, their phones glued to their ears. Daniel guided Emily to a seat near the corner. "Stay here, sweetheart. Daddy's just going to talk to someone. Don't move, okay?" Emily nodded, but her eyes were wide with curiosity. She loved languages, loved listening to the way people spoke differently. Her mother had been a language teacher, and before she passed, she had filled their little apartment with Japanese books, songs, and lullabies. Emily had absorbed more than Daniel realized. On the 50th floor, tension simmered like boiling water. Kenjiro Takahashi sat at the head of a long conference table, his sharp suit immaculately pressed, his eyes hard as steel. He had come to America for a major partnership deal, one that could bring thousands of jobs. But the Americans across from him had mocked his traditions, dismissed his formality, and even joked about his accent. To him, it was unforgivable. Pride, in his culture, was not something to be toyed with. He rose from the table, fury in his stride. "This meeting is finished. Japan will not be insulted." His interpreter scrambled after him, but the billionaire's mind was made up. He would leave, and with him, billions in investment. As fate would have it, the elevator carried him down to the lobby just as Daniel returned to Emily. The glass doors opened, and Kenjiro stepped out, his presence commanding silence. His security detail flanked him, their faces stone cold. Emily, innocent and unafraid, stared at him. And in the next heartbeat, she did something no one expected. She stood up, stepped forward, and in perfect, gentle Japanese said, "Sumasina broken bar Jibudisuka." "Excuse me, broken bar, are you okay?" The entire lobby froze. Executives, guards, even the receptionist stared in shock. Kenjiro stopped dead in his tracks. Slowly, he turned. His sharp eyes, used to cutting through deception and arrogance, softened just slightly at the sound of his mother tongue spoken so purely from the lips of a little American girl. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. "Emily, get back here," he hissed, panic flooding him. But Emily ignored him, stepping closer, her voice clear and melodic. She bowed just like her mother once showed her and continued in Japanese. "Watashi no mama wasitsama nihongo o oshide kuramashida, anatawakoda kanimiru kure a broken bar hanashida kata." "My mommy always taught me Japanese. You look lonely, a broken bar, so I wanted to talk to you." Kenjiro blinked. For a moment, the fury in him cracked, revealing something else, something no one had seen in years. Loneliness. The lobby buzzed in whispers. A child had just done what the American executives failed to: show respect, show humanity. Daniel hurried forward, pulling Emily gently back. "Sarah, I'm so sorry, she didn't mean it." But Kenjiro raised a hand. His deep voice, quiet yet commanding, silenced Daniel instantly. "Your daughter Broken Bar speaks my language," Danielle stammered. Her mother Broken Bar, she was a teacher. She taught Emily. "I didn't even know she remembered so much." Kenjiro knelt slightly, lowering himself to Emily's eye level. It was something no one in his company had ever seen him do. His voice, usually sharp as a blade, was soft now. "You spoke Broken Bar beautifully. What is your name?" "Emily Hayes," she said proudly. "I'm 8. Kenjiro's lips twitched, almost into a smile. He hadn't smiled in years, not since his own daughter close to Emily's age had passed away in an accident back in Tokyo. That wound had never healed, but in Emily's innocent eyes, he saw a glimmer of the child he had lost. The room seemed to hold its breath. The furious billionaire, who moments ago was ready to abandon America in rage, now lingered. "And viewers, remember what I told you at the start? That it wasn't a politician or a CEO who stopped him up. It was this child, and this was only the beginning. Because what followed would change not only Daniel and Emily's lives forever, but Kenjiro's as well." But to know how, to feel the depth of what came next to the meals they shared, the secrets revealed, the pain resurfaced, and the decision that stunned the world. You need to stay with me for chapter 2, because the moment that billionaire's heart cracked open a Broken Bar was the moment destiny began to rewrite itself. So don't miss what happens next. And before we continue, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, so you never miss stories like these. Stories that remind us of the power of family, respect, and unexpected connections. Kenjiro Takahashi stood there in silence, his heart caught between rage and a fragile memory that Emily had unknowingly touched. The guards glanced at each other, waiting for his signal, but for the first time in years he didn't know what to say. He rose slowly, his sharp eyes studying Daniel now, as if the man held answers to questions that had haunted him for decades.